industry, it's very, very small and traditional activities. And after my FAB Academy, I graduated in Barcelona in the FAB 10 in Barcelona. And then I decided to start iFurniture. iFurniture as a proposal to integrate traditional activities in woodworking and digital fabrication. So we started a group. We funded a furniture and to connect carpenters with designers. This is our proposal. This is our social proposal. Carpenters always are working in traditional activities and technical knowledge. So could you imagine to improve their technology with our technology? This is the proposal to make a hybrid, to make a fusion between traditional culture and new technologies. So after that, we received a funding for the government, Startup Peru, and we received a funding to start a seed capital to start our entrepreneurship here in Peru. So after that, we implement a Fab Lab called Fab Lab iFurniture. We implement a Fab Lab and we are making prototyping in furniture, giving workshops for the community, the makers, designers who are passionate in furnitures, and carpenters who are passionate in improved technologies and digital manufacturing. So this is that we are working actually now. It's like for about 8 years working in this passionately industry. And I think we are helping people, we are improving our industry, and we're, of course, making a sustainability in our environment, in our ecosystem entrepreneurship environment.
Wow, that's really good. So what kind of, how is the furnitures that you're making different from like other kind of products that are being made within the furniture industry around Peru especially?
Yeah, first, the material. The material is different because we are using, for router CNC, we are using material processed like plywood or maybe other kind of OBS material. So normally in Peru, carpenters use furniture with traditional woods, but this kind of technology is not actually working in my country. So we are working different materials, like an innovative material. So the carpenters are totally agree with that. This is the first important things to understand, the material. After that, the kind of design. Everything that you design in a software, like a parametric software, you can customize your furniture and you can create new things about a basic furniture. So I think the innovative design is very important in that part. And the third part is the kind of process, the kind of assembly in the furniture. In Fab Academy, you always learning about digital joints, digital assemblies, slotting joints, and we are using this kind of connectors making furnitures. And for this kind of description of furniture, we are creating like a puzzle furniture with different shapes and different forms. This is, I think, the particular about our kind of business.
No, that's really good. I'm just going back a little bit to the question of the inspiration, because you said, like, for your business, it started out of a Fab Academy project that you did. And as I started earlier, I said there are a lot of things that we learn as young people. We get involved in a lot of trainings, random trainings for most part. And none of those trainings for most of the youth, those trainings are not sometimes taken seriously, or at least not capitalized on. So people still wait for something that will blow up, for something that will look a bit interesting and sexy. And that's what they would want now to focus on, perhaps at that time. But it's never known exactly what that would be and when that would show up. So in terms of inspiration, you've gone through Fab Academy and you've learned these skills. How did you get to a point where you decide, let's register a company and let's just focus on this area out of the skills that you've gained?
Yeah, I remember that day that I talk with my friends and I say, I did a Fab Academy. I don't want to work in a normal business. I don't want to work in a normal company with a payment monthly and making something that is boring for me and is not innovative. I mean, I receive a lot of knowledge. I am in a big community of makers, and I don't want to stay here to don't improve my industry with a lot of knowledge that actually I have. So my friend told me, yeah, you have create your own business. You have to improve, and with all of that knowledge, you have to put your experience in the academy and to put in a good business to make a sustainability industry. But this is very important. Our industry needs people specialize in technology. This is for me a good role. So industry is a circular economy. Everybody in that industry have a role. You have a role to a leadership role, then carpenters, then designers, then customers. Every part of the system need to improve this role with technology. So we are important in the industry because we receive the knowledge and we need to continue studying, continue connecting technology, make a networking in the world, receive feedback, include to learn with other people in other countries who are working in the same way that you are working, because the technology every time is changing and is improving and is evolutioning with new things. So for me to connect in the FabLab network, checking working works in Japan, in Taiwan, in Jordan, in USA, is good knowledge to back to my country and then to put in practice that kind of knowledge and improve my region, my local region, my carpenters, my communities. And I think the world is a network. So we are part of this system. So this is the reason for that I am actually continue working in iFurniture.
I'm excited about that. You're saying the industry needs people who are passionate about technology, people who understand technology, and then these people are the ones who are supposed to figure out what is working in other places that our community does not have, and then bring that into our community. I like that. As I get into to Kimali to introduce what he's doing, if you have maybe images or something of the kind of work that you're doing, I think it will help also to make it vivid for some of us to see and just get to understand. That would be good. So maybe you can prepare that if you have a website that you think you can project, or some images that you can project to show us some of the products that you made. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. If you give me 2 minutes, I can share you our actually project using not only digital fabrication, we are using a programming system. So this is very interesting how the technology could improve in your projects and could continue working every time. We are not stopping for nothing. We are actually working and working and working, improving our industry. So let me share my screen and I will show you our project. Actually, we are working on that. Could you see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
So yeah, we are working in this crazy project, but for us this is good because this part of project is part of the sustainability business model. Our business model is to introduce furniture and customize furniture to customers. Okay, now we are creating this website as a platform. When user can to enter, choose a furniture, and then check by online They can play with the furniture, check every part of that, and then on the right they can customize sizes. This is important because the technology can to fabricate in different size with a machine with CNC router. So you can customize his, and you need to understand the experience of the users, how they understand size, heights, and measurements. This is our idea, and then the user can choose materials, the different materials that we can offer with digital fabrication, and then some accessories and some plies and some parts of our furniture. And after that, the business model is to add to the shopping cart, and then they can here choose the quantity, and then they can confirm that, and then they can pay in our website. So this is part of the technology too, and this is part of the business model. This kind of project help us to continue working in furniture and make sustainability business model for us.
Wonderful. So you're using digital fabrication to produce your products, and then you're using digital tools to sell and recreate those products. Wonderful.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'll come back to you. Let me bring in Kimali into this conversation. Kimali, you have Fedha Electrics. Maybe tell us a bit more about what Fedha Electrics does. Where did Fedha Electric begin? What was the inspiration behind starting Fedha Electrics, and how is it doing so far? Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm actually impressed by Vanessa, what she has been able to achieve, and I'm really impressed because she has just mentioned that she was in Fab 10 in Barcelona, and I actually attended Fab 10 Barcelona. So
Really? Oh my
yes, I
goodness.
was in Fab 10. I was in Barcelona. So
Wow.
maybe we met. I don't know. I think I should just
Right.
check my photos somewhere. Maybe I will see you in the background.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's fantastic. So my name is Kimali, and I have a company. Actually, I have two companies. One is called Fedha Electrics, and the other one is called Ubuntu Water Hub Africa. So Fedha Electrics is a company that does contract manufacturing. We have been able um, to make a lot of electronics that have gone in several African markets. And these include things like car trackers for fleet management. We also have speed limiters for vehicles. We also have automation systems for hotels and home automation. And at Water Hub, Ubuntu Water Hub Africa is actually a company that I started this year. And we have been focusing more on the water industry. And we are working on smart prepaid water meters and also water ATMs. So basically, that's what we do. So how did I start? Actually, the story is interesting because I started at the Fab Lab. I was a member of Fab Lab at the University of Nairobi when I was a student at the University of Nairobi. And I used to love electronics a lot. I used to go there, play with Arduino, blink LEDs, try to switch on and off stuff. And when I was in my third year of study, um, I started doing projects. And I remember one of the projects that I was doing was how do I send an SMS to switch on the lights, to switch on and off the lights at home? That was like the project I really wanted to do. And by then I did not understand the concept of IoT, but I actually understood how to do it, but I did not know that I was actually doing IoT. So by then we did not have GSM modules in the country. So we had these phones, feature phones. I think it was a Motorola C168. So I was using that phone as my GSM module because we did not have GSM module. So that phone apparently on the jack pin, it's a communication channel. So I was using that to communicate to the phone with an Arduino. So when you send an SMS to the phone, you can actually read the SMS using Arduino and then decode it, and then you switch on the lights. So I did that in my third year of study. The first project, I actually blew up the circuit breaker in the lab because I connected the things in a funny way. And when I sent an SMS, it actuated, and then there were no lights in the lab, and everyone was mad at me. But I was happy because I finally sent an SMS and it was working, Yeah. So it was a good thing. And I did a lot of projects when I was in Fab Lab. I was doing mostly hobby projects. And one of the projects I was doing was also toys for the children, just trying to make toys and using the laser cutter, the shopbot, the router machine, and all these 3D printers. And I was doing toys for children. And I started I started having this entrepreneurial mind when one day I just decided to design an amplifier. And then when I designed this amplifier, my friends were like, I want one like that. And I was like, you're going to pay for it. And they started paying, and I was like, oh, cool. This is how you make money. So that is how I started making money. And one of my friends one day came and asked me, Kimali, are you able to make for me a fleet management solution? And I was like, you know what? I have never made a fleet management solution, but I'm going to try. So I tried. It had a lot of challenges. I had never used Google Maps APIs, but that day, like that period, I started learning how to use that. I had never even opened a server. I did not even know how a server looks like, a virtual private server. But with that project, I learned, it took me 2 weeks to learn how to set up a server, to learn how to use Google Map APIs. At least I knew how to tinker with electronics. I knew that I can set electronics to send something to the server. I knew that part. So basically, I made a fleet management solution, which wasn't the best, but it was working. And my friend looked at me and he was like, you know what? That is what I'm going to take to the market. And I was like, this thing is not ready. I don't think it's ready. I don't want you to go to the market and, you just lose your customers like that. But he was very confident. He went with it to the market. Finally, so I got to make it very stable. And that is how I actually got into business. So with that, my friend introduced me to other guys, and one of the it's actually one big company in Kenya called Dalcom Kenya Limited, and they were making speed limiters for public service vehicles in Kenya, and their brand was called Omata Speed Governors. So I designed the speed governors for them, and it was the best-selling speed governor in Kenya. And I was so happy, like when you design something and then you see it out there, you become so happy. So basically, once I designed that, I I was still working. I had my company. I had registered my company, but I wasn't making enough money per se. So I was still working at the University of Nairobi. And then fortunately, when I designed Omata, I got a job at IBM. So I worked there as a hardware engineer. But after some time, my company started, I started having some good revenue, and I quit IBM to focus on entrepreneurship. And at this point, I had, so Omata Speed Governor had become the best speed governor in Kenya. And I got several other clients. I did a lot of networking systems. I did a lot of trackers, which was mostly contract manufacturing. I would, someone would tell me, I need a tracker that can do geofencing, a tracker that can, can measure the fuel consumption, all these kind of things. And for me, it was like, bring it on, whatever you want, just bring it on. I will do it for you. I had faith in myself. I believed in myself. And eventually, I was able to stabilize the company. And I did several other projects. And this was until 2019, 2020 actually, when COVID hit, and the company was it was really affected by COVID because manufacturing had stopped in China. So it was a big blow to us. And then I had to start looking for other ways to survive. Fortunately, sorry?
No, before I get into that direction of the conversation, I'm picking up
Okay.
on two common things between what you just said and what Vanessa said as well. The concept of like-minded friends, because for you, a friend was there and said, I'm taking this thing to the market, whether you think it's ready or not. Do you think most of these products are ever ready? Like, is there a time you have to you work on the product and you work on it again and you iterate, but does it ever get ready for market? Because even for Vanessa, friends are the ones who said, let's make money out of this, and you told the friends, yes, I'm gonna set up a company. Nicholus, your product was not as per your standards, it was not ready. Are these products ever ready? Do we have to wait until the product is ready for us to start a business?
So let me be honest with that. The products are never ready. So you just have to take it to the market. I think I have learned the hard way. And right now, I know how to scope a product. I know where to stop. Like I have had experience in product development. And this is why you always have a version 1 of a product, a version 2, a version 3, and so on. So basically, if you want to make a robust product, it has to be very simple. You can never be ready for the market. As long as people want it, the simplest product, whatever you can produce, start with that. And then the market will inform how you are going to actually develop your product or redevelop your product. So it's not for you to determine whether it's ready for the market. It's the market to determine. And you have so unfortunately, or I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, this is something you just have to learn. It's something you just have to go in and test the waters somehow. So you can do some research, but the research will give you data that is hypothetical. And when you go out there, when you start testing something, then you will understand. I remember I was working with Derek at Fab Lab Nairobi, and then there was this guy, this Maasai boy who came with that elephant something. I don't know if you remember, Derek. Some young Maasai boy who had created a system to scare elephants. So this system was actually very simple. It was just some LEDs that were blinking at a certain rate, and that was it. So he just put it in a certain enclosure, and that was the system. So it was just blinking LEDs. So if you look at it, you know, I think most of us who have gone through this Fab Lab training, we can blink an LED. So it means that when you have this when you think of something like when you get that little knowledge, it's up to you to think of how to monetize whatever you have. If you can blink an LED, can you make Christmas lights, for example? Because Christmas lights are about blinking LEDs. You know, it's about
Yes.
thinking broadly, because sometimes you learn about blinking LEDs, but you are not thinking beyond blinking LEDs, because I have seen even boards. When you walk in town, you see signboards with blinking LEDs. That's exactly what, you know, when you start the hello world in hardware, that is the thing that you do. So it's about taking what you have learned and, you know, thinking broadly, and you're able now to make those lights, those Christmas lights, those systems, and you sell them out there, and people are willing to pay for these things.
That's really interesting. Thank you, Kimali. And let me bring Vanessa back in again. The Kimali has said the product was not ready and he had to start somewhere. How many products did you have? Were you guys ready by the time you were registering a company? And while you're on that, what other challenges have you faced in just being an entrepreneur who has set up your own company without perhaps much entrepreneurial experience in the background?
Oh, wow. I think for me or for my team to make business in that crazy business environment, we are makers, we are designers, and we are researchers, and we are always more students than the business people. So this is very hard to enter to that ecosystem, maybe to talk with investors and to talk with customers, clients, and maybe big institutions to want your furniture. And are you ready for that? Are you ready to sell big projects for institutions and government? So I think this is a big challenge for us, and actually we are in that way. And but I think it was I remember 4 years ago in my country we had natural disaster on a river that they came in the city, and I remember the government contract small shelters. So but that those shelters were difficult to enter to my country because it was important. But I remember we created with digital fabrication and with woodworking design. I replicate a shelter as an open source project from USA to Peru. And I remember the government says, could you please fabricate 1,000 of shelters here right now? And it was wow. It was wow, okay. We want to help people. We want to improving our business, but we are not ready to kind of logistics questions. So I think it was the big goal that then we thought about that. Say, okay, we need to understand more about business, more about that industry, more to understand construction stuff. So yes, it is part of the entrepreneurship way and life. So every time I am totally agree with Kimali that we are not really done and we're never done. We are continue working every time, every day with different experience. I think we are totally resilient people that working and fixing everything every day every goals that we are receiving in our life and fixing and working with attitude and continue uh, keeping our proposal. This is important for us.
That's interesting. And maybe just before I go back to Kimali again, Vanessa, do you think there's a winning formula of how to become a successful entrepreneur so far with the experience that you've had? Is there a direct path? Is there a winning formula? Is there like a specific strategy that one has to figure out for entrepreneurship to work for them?
Yes, one key important in the life: education and knowledge is the first step, and this step is never stop. You never know everything that the technology is actually developing every day in the world. You need to think that you need to understand that tomorrow is a new technology, maybe for woodworking industry. After tomorrow, someone is creating a new code. After tomorrow, someone, I don't know, in England is creating artificial intelligence for furniture. I don't know, and you need to study every time. Every time you need to connect with knowledge. You need to research. You need to ask. You need to find by online experiences for other people. You need to learn. You need to take a course, a classes, a workshop, or connect with mentors, or connect with people who knows about the industry that you are interested about that. So I think this is the key: studying every time in your life if you want to really understand the industry that you are interested in, that, and keep continuing in that. Yes, motivating every time with knowledge.
That's amazing. And just from right where you stopped earlier on, Kimali had said, Kimali, I'm coming back to you. You said earlier on that that you learn a skill, you learn how to blink an LED, for example, but the trick is to give it an application, like find a way to make that LED work for something else out there. And Vanessa has just said, one of the things that will help you to get through is to stay updated with knowledge and information, to keep researching on your own. So I'm wondering, from your experience, what do you think is stopping most of our young people from getting into entrepreneurship or from monetizing the skills that they have gained, all these random skills, especially in maker spaces and other places where you have shared communities with different skills and ways of thinking, and we gain skills from these places. What is stopping our young people from monetizing or from making good use of these skills?
So actually, that's an interesting question, and I think I would want to add something to what Vanessa had said, and I also answer that question. So maybe I will start by answering that question first, because I have been there. And initially, when I was in a makerspace, that is Fab Lab, the problem with us makers is that our happiness does not come from money. We want to make money, but our happiness comes from, when I see an LED blinking, I'm so happy. It has blinked. When I send an SMS and I open the curtains using that SMS, I'll call everyone and tell them, hey, come and see, my SMS is opening the curtain. When I make an app and I'm able to switch off the vehicle as it's going, I'll tell everyone, come and see this. I am not thinking of how do I monetize this. And sometimes I think it's not our problem per se. I would say, for me, it was fate that, that happened. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. But not everyone gets this fate. Because when my friend came to me and I built that system for him, and he introduced me to other business people, that's when I started thinking like a business person. I made wrong decisions. you know, and eventually I learned the hard way. But the thing is, I think for us to have sustainable maker spaces, or rather for someone who is in a maker space, it's good to have some business mentorship. Instead of just starting from as much as yes, you're blinking that LED, you know, what we are thinking as makers is yes, I have blinked this LED. And I've given an example, like, yes, you can think about making Christmas lights, but yes, they will make the Christmas lights, but they will not think about how do I sell these Christmas lights? That is that, you know, that's how makers think. So the thing is, I would recommend that we have some business mentorship in maker spaces. Even what you're doing, Derek, it's awesome. Some business mentorship, because that way it will help even the makers as they are doing whatever they are doing, they will also start thinking about business. Now, to go back to also what Vanessa said, so I actually got business mentors myself after making tons of wrong decisions. And then one of my mentor told me, um, you know, being smart and hardworking does not always guarantee you success. And, you know, I was like, sure, actually, you know, I tried doing things in a very smart way, you know, making the best trackers, you know, trying to do things. But, you know, I'm a very hard worker, and for sure, I did not have money then. So he was right. But he told me having focus and consistency is what will guarantee you success. And I was like, explain to me more about that. Like, what does focus and consistency mean? So focus is, you know, I'll give a very simple example. You have blinked an LED and you say, you know what? My business from now henceforth is blinking LEDs. I'm going to focus on blinking LEDs in so many ways. One of the ways is to make Christmas lights. You focus on making the best Christmas lights out there, you know, just focus on something. You see, like the way Vanessa is focused on furniture, you know, that's the focus. You focus on one thing. And as you focus, consistency is every time you have to inform yourself of what are the trends, and also you be consistent in improving whatever you're focusing on. It's not that today you're here, you're doing furniture, and then you go and you're like, oh, okay, I think I have seen something else I want to jump into. And then you jump into that. And then you go see something else, you jump into that. You will not focus. I think you need that focus. And also consistency will now help you in growing whatever you're focusing on. And that way, it will always guarantee you success. And then you now merge focus and consistency plus now hard work and being smart. That one is a recipe for success. So so basically that's it. Yeah, it's a recipe for success. So
Yeah.
I think for makers, the best thing is as you do these things, as you learn, you know, ask yourself questions beyond what you're just learning. When someone trains you on that blinking the LED, ask yourself, what can I do with this knowledge that I have here? And make something out of it. Try it out. You know, when you're learning, uh, you know, trying and failing is part of learning. So try it out, go there, fail the first time, the second time, and you will know, oh, the market doesn't operate this way. So I need maybe to learn more other things, even the soft skills. You need to learn that as well. So I think being an entrepreneur is a set of so many things. Of course, the first thing, the most important, is that innovation. And innovation doesn't mean inventing something. It's maybe improving something, or rather using something in a different way that people haven't thought of it before. And when you do that, it actually opens up a door for you. And then how to monetize that thing. And sometimes you have to know yourself. You have to know, I have a weakness in 1, 2, 3 areas, and you have to seek help for that. So basically, that's what I can say.
Okay, that's amazing, and I think there's a lot of wisdom that we are getting here today. If you have any questions for the audience, if you have any questions, put them on the chat, and then we'll come back to it. I'm trying to move quickly from this point, but Vanessa, let me come back to you again. We've talked about focus. Kimali has talked about perseverance. We've talked about how you started the company as well, also from your side. Where is the space for fear and for failure? What are your experiences around that area? Because for most people, when you're trying to get into something new, the first feeling is that I'm scared I will fail. I'm scared these and these will not happen very well, or I'm not sure I'm ready. Where is the space for fear and for failure in your entrepreneurial experience personally?
Yes, of course, some emotional things is happen for your mind or for your spirit when you are taking new adventures, so new environment, new people, different languages, different cultures. So it's life. It's part of your human being experience here. So, but the most important thing for me is that those kind of experiences are not introducing in your proposal and in your in your mind. If you have your goal, if you have your personal goal, that this is very important. You have to move for everywhere in the world, different opportunities and different experience, because the technology helps you to things are to go outside to your normal environment. This is very important. Weather is different, language is different, cultures are different. So, and I remember when I traveled to Jordan, to the Muslim country, to work in the Fab Academy as a Fab Academy instructor. I remember. So the first month it was hard for me. It's different food, a different environment, different weather. But then I said, oh, this is my goal. My goal is to teach people how to use a digital carpentry, woodworking design, and to improve our industry. So let's focus on that, keep continuing, and nothing is happening until you really understand that life is changing every time. So I think it was my experience. Uh, you are always in communities. You are not alone. You are always working with other people who the same experience like you, and maybe with more experience like you. That I remember one day my friends told me, yeah, this is nothing for you. This is like the first step to move. So keep going and you will find new things and new experiences. When you are open in this kind of mind, this kind of visions, you can to see more opportunities for your life.
I like that. You're saying you are always in communities, you're never alone. There's this other mentality of if I share my idea with some people, someone will steal my idea and then they'll become rich and I'll be here poor and not making money out of my own idea. What do you think of that? What's the value of networks and sharing? And Kimali, also, you'll give us your input on that same question. But Vanessa, what's the value of networks and collaborations and sharing?
Wow, for me, it's nothing material. Nothing material. For me, it's experiences to talk with people about anything in your life, not necessarily digital fabrication, not necessarily technology. It's just just be close to people with different completely thoughts like you, different completely culture like you. For me, this is the most important thing. So I remember one day in Jordan, and I was in a store, buying my stuff, my food. And I remember one guy told me that, "Hi, hello, good morning. How is your day?" And smiling every time. You are smiling very well. That's all. And I said, "Wow!" It was that was the in the morning. I remember my day was amazing. So I think this is for me. This is for me the part of the life when you are traveling and making technologic things with people.
Mm. Nice, very interesting. Kimali, has that been very helpful to you? The networks, the sharing of your idea, brainstorming with people about what you're trying to build for your entrepreneurship journey?
Yes, actually, sometimes I hear people saying, oh, if I share my idea, people are going to steal my idea. And sometimes I look at them and I'm like, how many people do you think have already thought of what you are thinking about right now? And we have so many people in this world. So sometimes it's not about sharing the idea. Sometimes, and if you hear someone who says that, they have not invested in that idea. It's just an idea. They have not invested. And an idea that has not been actualized is as good as dead. So the thing is, when you have an idea, you must invest in your idea. What do you want to make? If you want to make a certain product, invest in that idea. Make sure that you have thought through, you have actually involved even your potential customers to make that idea very good so that at the end of the day, even when you go to meet an investor, you can say, hey, investor, I need $5,000 or I need $1 million. And for this $1 million, this is how I'm going to use this $1 million. I'm going to do A, B, C, D. And this is how I'm going to make money from my idea. But the fact that you're saying, I'm not going to share my idea, how are you, like, what Vanessa has just said? Um, if you have a community, how are you going to benefit from this community if you're not sharing your ideas? So one thing that I have realized from so many makers is I fear to share my idea. And still the same person who is saying that, they have not invested in their idea. You ask them, how are you going to actualize your idea? They don't even know how they're going to actualize. It's just something that they came up with. And, they are thinking, oh, this is a very smart idea. But they have not invested time to think through the idea and come up with ways to on how to actualize that idea. So I don't necessarily support that mentality of, people are going to steal my idea. Of course, if you have not thought through your idea and you share it, we are going to steal it. You know, that's it. It's true. But if you think your idea through, let me tell you, there's no one who is going to steal that idea if you have thought it through. But if you haven't, people are going to steal it. And the thing is, when you invest in thinking through your idea, you will exactly know what to share and what not to share. But if you don't invest in your idea, you will tell me everything or you'll tell someone else. And because you don't have a plan on how to execute it, and some businessman is like, this idea can actually make money, they will create a plan on how to execute your idea, and you cannot sue them for that because you did not have any plan. They will create a plan and they will do it. But if you create a plan, it's very hard for you to share some of the things. You will be very careful on what to share. So I think it's more of invest in that ideation, in your idea, invest in it, invest in thinking about it, and also creating a plan for execution of your idea. That's it.
I'm about to bring this to an end because of time. I'm wondering whether I'm looking at the chat to see whether there are questions there. If there's anyone who has a question, please just switch on your mic and ask. I can see some chats here. If you have a question, just switch on your mic and ask kindly. But I can see Vic is saying, "How do I join a Fab Lab?" We have Fab Lab in Lamu. We have a Fab Lab in Kisumu. There's Gearbox in Nairobi. There's a Fab Lab in Mombasa called IOME 001. Vic, let us know where you are so that we figure out how to support you. But he's also asking any material on business models. Kimali, Vanessa, do you want to respond to that?
Okay, so I don't know whether you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so okay, business models. So this is what I'll say. Yes and no, but here's the thing. When you have, you cannot be an expert in everything, just as I've said, but the best thing is, first of all, for you to invest in whatever innovation you're coming up with in different ways. And I'll tell you a fact: there is no perfect business. There's no perfect business model. You know, I can take your exact business model, I apply it to my idea, it will not work. I will take someone else's, I apply it, it will not work. But some other one will work, you know. And the way to look at this is, you know, if maybe you look at our grandfathers, uh, people who did not go to school, some of them were rich, some of them were loaded with money, but they did not go to school. How did they arrive at that? It's just the, like, a business discipline, not necessarily a certain model. They were not writing this, I don't know, business models with SWOT analysis and all these things. They were not doing that. They were actually, it's more of how do you get discipline in business, and also have that way of, like what I've just said, you focus on whatever your innovation is, whatever your idea is. That way, you can don't try to be everything. Don't try to be the one who does, you know, all your business, the one who does everything, the innovation, because you can't be master of all. Get people in the community to help you, to, you know, try to give you ideas, because if you're not good in business and you're very good in innovations, you know, get someone who is good in business as well. You know, try to work together, because at the end of the day, you can make the Christmas lights, but you don't know how to sell Christmas lights. So don't kill yourself trying to sell the Christmas lights, but get someone who knows how to sell the Christmas lights, partner with that person, and that is it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what I can say. Maybe Vanessa
yeah, that's a very good tip. Vanessa, are there resources on business models?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
please go
totally
on.
agree with Kimali. Totally agree, because you don't need to know everything. You are no expert, maybe in I don't know, commercial management, but you focus in your big knowledge and focus in your big activity that you know you are super special in that. So then you can to support with incubators, accelerators, mentors, and fab labs, and they know about other skills that you can learn as as a standard knowledge. So then make partners, like Kimali said, make partners, and invite some other maybe colleague to do the business with him or with her. So this is the key: make teams, work teams, and multidisciplinary people in your teams could improve that.
Amazing. That's really profound response, and I like what you both just said. Is there any other question? There is Victor Kinyo is saying, Kimali, I'm interested in learning more about automations. Do you have response to him about that? How we can be guided?
So, okay, Victor, I will, through Derek, I will share some material. So basically, I do offer training on embedded systems and IoT and just product development every Saturday. Apart from, I think, the last 3 Saturdays, that's when I didn't have a class, but every Saturday I have a training which is free. It's online. I show guys how to make products, and if you guys are interested, I'm going to share this with Derek. So we are going to start on the Saturday, that is 3rd of December. That's when I'm going to have a session, and it will be a really interesting session. It's very informative, because we not only look at how to blink LEDs or how to, so we look at how to develop products. And I'll give an example. Like the first product, we looked at how to do home automation, how to switch on and off lights remotely, and we did that. We also did a system where we were able to switch on and off lights at home using a website and an app. We also did washroom automation. So basically, we have several projects, and this can be turned into products that we look at. So I'll liaise with Derek, and Derek, you can share that with them.
Thank you, Kimali. And Vanessa, you also do a lot of, this is the movers part of you two panelists today, because you share knowledge and you share a lot of skills about how you do what you do. Vanessa, you also have a lot of trainings that you conduct. Do you just want to mention a word around the same?
Oh, yes. We are actually training with teaching students, and not exactly Peruvian students. You can join with us to learn more about furniture with digital fabrication that we name digital carpentry in our Fab Lab. And I will give you all the information. And if you want to participate, keep in contact with me or with my team in Peru, but everything is by online. You can design your furniture, and we can fabricate it in Peru, and we can design furniture and you can fabricate in your country. So this is the idea: local distribution, local fabrication, and digital and global design. So it's a business model that we have. We pay a fee for each design that we build and we fabricate and we sell. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I'd really be happy to integrate people for your country with different designs and different cultures. So thank you, Darren.
Beautiful. That's really good. As we bring this to a close, because I can see now this is the time people are starting to write in questions. We are way behind time. As we bring this to a close, your parting shots, Kimali, what would be your advice to emerging entrepreneurs, or those of us who want to become entrepreneurs within this call today? What would be your parting shot? What do you leave us with as a word? How do we move forward from here?
Okay, thank you. Before my parting shot, there's a question that McKenna asked about the trainings. Will you start from scratch? So yes, I actually do start from scratch. I assume that you know nothing about anything, and we start together. We even download software together. I show you how to configure everything. So it takes a few sessions for us to make something, but yes, I do start from scratch. So my parting shot to you, makers, just be consistent in innovation as well. As you learn, try to innovate around several things when you're learning. Be, just as Vanessa has said, try to be knowledgeable, seek more information from, different sources, and do not wait for someone to tell you to do something. Try to also do things by yourself. So basically, that's what I will advise you. Try to do things by yourself. Try to be innovative. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Vanessa, your parting shot?
Oh, no, thank you very much, Derek, for the invitation. So for me, be totally authentic and connect people in every places, everywhere, and connect with your academic skills in digital fabrication if you want to continue working in technology and in this kind of industry or this kind of industry 4.0. And yes, let's keep studying every time and contact with other people that you don't know, because maybe you could surprise with other different perspective and vision that you never heard. But this is amazing.
Wonderful. I appreciate you both. I appreciate you, Vanessa, for taking time. I know it's we have difference in time right now, and it's early morning for you. You're just getting into your day, but you've actually granted us slightly more than an hour of your time today. So we really appreciate you for that. We wish you all the best in the work that you're doing, both in Peru and in the US. You're working too hard. But I think we'll be in contact very soon so that we see how best can we be able to work together. Vanessa has already provided her social media and website links on the chat, so please check her out, and check out the work that she's doing in with iFurniture. Kimali, we also appreciate you a lot. You're a busy person as well in Nairobi. It's evening and you should be getting into traffic now, trying to get out of work, but you've spent an hour of your time, slightly more than an hour, with us today, just to share your experiences and the growth that you have done and the things that you learned in your journey. We wish you all the best in your entrepreneurship and the trainings that you're going to do now. I think most people that are in the call have heard about that, and therefore there's no excuse. No one can say I was not aware or I did not have the chance. So let's keep moving on. Let's keep conversing. Let's keep making decisions and trying out new things. And I lastly just want to appreciate all of you for finding time to listen in, to learn from this experience. We will be having more experiences and more conversations moving forward. I think almost every midweek, every Wednesday until mid of December. So stay aware. Just check out, keep checking our social media handles, especially Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at IOME254. If you keep checking on that, we will be able to see whenever we have new webinars or new trainings coming up that could be very useful to you. So this is the beginning of conversations around entrepreneurship. I hope we'll have more coming up within the next few weeks and moving forward, even across next year. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I wish you all a good evening and a good morning for you, Vanessa. We'll catch up.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.